Ladies and gentlemen, Charles Cather here in the beautiful city of Novi Sad, Serbia, folks. This is episode number 1 of Serbia Weekly with Charles. This marks my 9th year, 2019, my 9th year of being here in Serbia. I first randomly met a Serbian on a Facebook page in 2010, January of 2010 to be exact. I was in my office, a sales guy came in, we were just shooting the crap there. He says, Charles, have you heard about a Facebook page called I Hate the USA? Never heard of it. I'm an American patriot. We were slow. I popped onto Facebook. I looked up I Hate the USA. I saw a guy named Dragon and a guy named Alexander that was spelled odd talking crap about my country. It offended me. I was a patriot, my friends. So I commented, we fought, we argued, we called each other names, and after about 2 weeks we added each other on Skype. We talked about American intervention here in Serbia. I knew very little except the propaganda that I was forced down from the Clinton administration. I came here in May 28, 2010 to see this country, to meet a person I met on a Facebook page, I Hate the USA. It changed my life. I was in Subotica, Zrenjanin, Kragujevac, Niš, Pirot. I was all over this country. Everywhere I went, the people were phenomenal. I quit my job. I stayed here in Serbia. Our first guest, this year we're going to have a lot of different guests here, but 2 very special people to me that I know personally, that I consider good friends, are here with us today. The reason I asked them to be on this first episode, the same situation I had, randomly bumping into a Serbian and coming here, is the same exact thing that happened to this fine gentleman to my left, Sam from Alaska, bumped into a young man named Dragoslav. Or Dragoljub. What is Dragoljub? Oh my God. See, I don't even know how to say it. Similar situations. That's how we came here. This guy came here to visit. Now he's here for how long? Are you going to stay here now?
Foreseeable future.
Foreseeable future. That's how I started. You're probably never leaving, Sam.
Probably not.
Anyway, tell us your name. What's your name? Where are you from?
My name is Sam, and I'm from Alaska. I was born and raised there, and I've been in Serbia for 2.5 months already, and so far I love it. 2.5 months, young man. Where are you from?
Yeah, I'm from Kikinda. That's a small town in the north of Serbia. I'm studying Faculty of Sport and Physical Education, and yeah, about Kikinda, it's a really nice town. It's a town of owls and town of pumpkins.
Yeah, town of owls. Explain the owl aspect you said of Kikinda.
Yeah, there's much owls in Kikinda. Like it's the center of owls in whole Europe. Even about the BBC. Right, they came there to take an episode about owls and that stuff. So yeah, it's pretty amazing.
Only thing I knew about Kikinda, there's a mammoth, like a woolly mammoth. Kako se kaže na srpskom? In the museum.
Same.
Mammoth.
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 Yes, exactly the same. Yeah.
Really, it's got a pretty center and everything. Huh?
Yeah.
But anyway, the story of you 2 meeting, which I find fascinating, because it's the same thing that happened to me. When you bump into a Serbian, you meet a Serbian, you like them. You guys met in some random place in Anchorage, Alaska, correct?
Yes.
Where did you meet? Where was it? How did you meet this guy?
Well, in the beginning of the summer, work and travel group students were working for the Hilton, and I was already working there for the whole year. And there was a unit cohesion party for the new Serbian students who were working for us. So all the managers and some of the other staff got together to meet some of the Serbian students, and I was wearing a tracksuit.
Typical Balkan, huh?
I was wearing a
Tracksuit only, yeah.
Sunglasses, yeah.
And because it was bowling, and I didn't want to wear jeans and a jacket to go bowling, I wanted to be comfortable bowling. So I had a lot of people come up to me and ask me if I'm one of the J1 students.
Oh, damn.
No, so I didn't actually go bowling. I was just watching. Wearing the tracksuit was basically pointless. But, so I had a lot of people asking me if I'm from Serbia, the Serbian folks, and I said no, I'm from here. Anyway, so I started talking with some of the Serbian students, Drago here, and at the end of the event, I asked them if they wanted to ride home, because the bus doesn't take them to their home, it takes them back to the Hilton. So that's how I met Dragoljub.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah.
But why, first of all, why were you in Anchorage? You're from Kikinda. How did you get there and why?
My friend mentioned me about the work and travel program about America, and he was speaking me a lot about that. So yeah, I got interested and I signed up on the program and never read it, of course. Mm-hmm. And one of the main reasons why I came to Anchorage is because I saw the picture of a really amazing nature. So yeah, I'm a nature. I really like nature. So yeah, that was one of the main reasons why I went there. So yeah.
And so this night, you're out, you're getting ready to go home, you need a ride home, and this guy randomly offers to take you home.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, as he said, he was in a tracksuit, he was wearing a hat, he had some black sunglasses, and you know, it's you're in a strange country, you're in America, from Serbia to America, and one of them just offered you a ride, just random guy, and I was thinking about that. I was like, should I accept it? Yeah, and because I was not by myself, there were like 2 or 3 of my friends, and I looked at them and yeah, we'll accept it.
We'll do it.
And yeah, that's how we met each other. And yeah, before that, we spoke a little bit. And after he asked me for a number, but yeah, I gave him a number, and I didn't even dream about that he will message me, and you know that we will start hanging out, and he'll be in Serbia like he is right now.
Yeah.
So yeah, I gave a number to dozens of people, and nobody messaged me. And because it was 4th of July, it's an Independence Day, right?
Yeah.
So it's like American New Year. It's like the biggest holiday in America, probably. Yeah.
Our birthday.
Yeah. And next to Thanksgiving, right?
Huh.
Yeah. And on the 3rd of July, he messaged me, would I like to go with him on some fair to have a good time, you know, to meet each other more. And I was like, no, I could not do that because my friend is making a birthday on 4th of July at my house, so it will be a bunch of people.
Who was your friend? A Serbian or
Serbian friend? Serbian friend. And it will be a bunch of people. And if you want and if you have time, you can come. But if you know, because you don't still know us, so you can bring one of your friends. Or maybe 2, I don't know. So yeah, he came with one of his friends, but we started hanging out. He met my crew, he met my friends, and one party, second party, one hanging out, second hanging out. He showed me like everything that needs to be showed in Alaska. So yeah, that's awesome. How we start meeting each other and hanging with each other, and yeah.
When it comes to the Serbians, what did you know before you randomly bumped into these folks? A guy named Dragoljub. What did you think? I mean, did you know anything about Serbia at all, or Serbian people? Did you know anything about them?
No, actually, I didn't even know where Serbia was on the map.
Really? Yeah. Typical, yeah.
Didn't even know.
Yeah, he was one of the probably 99% of Americans that say that.
I didn't know anything about Serbia and Serbian people, and they were working for our company, and I decided to show them around, show them Alaska, and I found out so many great things about the Serbian people, and I decided to take a leap and to see what the country's all about. That's why I'm here.
I love it. Yeah. And you told me you've been to how many countries now in total?
19 countries.
19 countries, and now you're here in Serbia. What do you think of it?
I mean, I love it so far. I mean, I can't think of really anything bad. Nothing bad comes to mind when I think of this country. And I don't know. I lived in Japan for 11 years, and that's another great country. Really, everybody's really friendly there. They have their problems, but mostly it's pretty good. And I don't know. Serbia and Japan are actually very similar countries.
Yeah. Wow. They got a close bond, too. I notice in Belgrade, there's a lot of buses that say, a gift from the people of Japan. So I think Serbia and Japan have a pretty good relationship.
Yeah.
But what were you doing? What were you doing in Japan? Why were you in Japan? What were you working or
I was
living or what?
When I turned 18, I moved to Japan, and I was doing IT for 10 years, and for 1 year I took kind of a break. So, and then eventually... Last year I went back to Alaska to teach, and also on my night job I worked at the Hilton,
and that's where you worked, or no?
That's where I worked, but he was night shift. He was from 11 p.m. to 7 a.m. And I was mostly from 2 p.m. to 10 p.m. and I didn't even knew that he's working there.
So right when you're leaving, he's coming in and
bowling alley. Yeah.
Wow, that's so super.
Yeah.
But when we talk about American people, okay, you went way over there to the USA. What about your mom and dad? You know, you're a young kid. You hear about the summer work and travel. The USA and Serbia, we have recent history of not so good times, my friend. What did mom and dad say? You go to mom and say, hey, mom, I want to go to the USA and spend 4 months in the summer. How did your parents react to this?
My mom, first, she was freaked out. She was scared, like, what? You will go to America, like, from Serbia to America for 4 months. You will be by yourself. You will work by yourself. And I was like, yeah, I mean, I should take a leap and I should experience that because I never experienced that. I want to meet culture, I want to meet people, I want to see different things because I didn't travel a lot, so America was a really big deal for me.
Oh, yeah, of course.
Yeah, and when I mentioned to my father, he was like, of course you should go. I mean, I'm happy because you will go. You should see the world, you should travel, you should see the stuff, you should meet people. And yeah, it's kind of different, mother and father, but they were all happy about that, but just in a different way. Yeah.
Love it. What about your parents? I mean, when you talk, your mother or whomever, you tell your friends, your family in USA, hey, I'm going to Serbia. What did they say? I mean, what were their reactions?
Why would you go to Siberia?
Yeah, Siberia.
Exactly.
Yeah, typical, huh?
Not Siberia, friend. No. But I introduced him to my mother, and she was like, if everybody's like that in Serbia, sure you'll have a good time.
So nice.
I've already lived most of my life overseas, so my family was fine with me leaving.
Doing it.
Yeah, and he told me that his first plan was to travel around Asia, but when he met me and my crew, he changed his plan, and he's here.
Love it.
I was originally gonna live in Thailand, in Chiang Mai, and I decided to come here instead. I had a job already lined up and everything.
Wow. Yeah, huge difference. Holy shit. You know?
He probably won't regret it. So.
Oh man, no. When we talk about, you've been to my country, you've been here to my country too. I consider my country. I live here more than I do in the USA. But there is differences between mentalities and people. Starting with you, Dragoljub, you said here in Serbia it's not so common to randomly talk to strangers to say things.
Exactly.
How did the American people there in Anchorage treat you? Give me an example. Were they nice or no?
Of course, they were nice. They were really friendly. One of my first days in America, in Anchorage to be exact, I was going through the street and just bumping to random people that were asking me like, how's your day going? How are you? Like, what will you do next? I mean, that's a common thing in America, but in Serbia, you will never experience that. You will never bump into random people, and even if you do, when you come back from America for 4 months, there were situations that I just, that I was thinking that I'm in American streets, and I was like saying hi to random people. They was like, what? Even me, like here in Serbia, after being here so long, I'm from the Midwest. I think we have a lot of similarities, me and Sam, with even though he's way far away from me, our accents are very similar, and we're just nice people, goddammit, right? But what I've noticed,
there's a hospitality. It's like a southern hospitality.
Totally. Even though, you're the north, as far north as you could be, still a lot of southern hospitality. But me here in my office, so many times students will walk in the door. I keep my office door open. I'll see people say, "Hey, how you doing, folks?" And they're always like, Like in Serbia, they're always a little bit put off. If you confront someone that you don't know in Serbia, Serbians are a little bit odd. Let me say, you had a similar story. You was in some bar, you know, here in Serbia. Tell us that story, because I thought that was a really interesting story. First, forgive me. First of all, it's normal in the USA, wouldn't you say, to go to a bar, to just by yourself, have a drink, talk to random people. If you see somebody you want to talk to, buy them a drink. Social place. Serbia, it's not that way. Tell us the story that happened to you in Serbia. I thought it was funny.
So a lot of my friends here are busy and they're studying and they work. So I go out by myself pretty often. And I remember the first or second time I went out by myself, I was just interested in talking to some new people. I went to a group of a table that had 2 guys, 2 girls. I walk up to the table and say, "Hey, can I buy you all a drink?" No. Who are you?
Yeah. Especially that he was speaking in English. So I
said, okay, I went back to the bar and I'm sitting there by myself. And one of the guys comes up. He's like, "You're from America, huh?" Well, I used to work in America, so I understand that you guys are really friendly. But it's just really weird that you came up to us. But I understand, so you can come hang out with us.
Yeah.
So the first thing they asked me when I went to the table was like, "By the way, are you gay?"
Are you gay?
No. That's happening a lot.
Yeah.
Especially when you're doing like that.
Because when you came to our table, you came straight to the guys and you asked the guys if we all want a drink. And I was like, no, I was offering everybody at the table. But I'm not. It's an American thing, maybe. That when you are introducing yourself to a group of people, you don't address the females first, because that's kind of rude.
Yeah, sure. Yeah, that's how I would do it too. Yep. You know, in case they're in a relationship, I would go straight to the guy.
Exactly. So I explained why I did what I did. I would just like to meet new people, and so they invited me out, and we spent the whole night together. They took me out on the town, and we went everywhere.
Beautiful, man. That's awesome.
Yeah.
What about in America? How was that different from you, like in a setting like that?
In America, we had a lot of Serbian parties, so I didn't go in a lot of night outs. But my last weekend,
you did everything at home.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, with Serbians. Yeah, most 90% of Serbians. Yeah, so I couldn't experience that. Whole that program, so I would like to do that, and I asked him. I mean, he offered me a weekend night out, like to show me downtown.
Serbs are cheap, man.
Yeah. He offered
to spend money in the bar.
He offered me a night out, so yeah, I accepted it because I would like to experience American night out, to meet American people, to see how it is. And we just me and him went to a bar and meet like a lot of people, like drinking with a lot of them. They were all friendly. You can just bump into random people and just start speaking with them.
Friends immediately.
Yeah. Friends immediately. Exactly.
One thing that we discussed a little bit earlier. It seems like here in Serbia, you know, when you go by yourself to a bar, every other person is in a group. And so it's not as easy. I think Serbians are unbelievably friendly. My best friends are Serbian now. But just as you stated, how did you say that? You said, when you talk about Serbians.
Okay, so as I was explaining earlier, it's kind of hard to get into their circle, but once you get in, they treat you like family, and you're in forever.
Exactly it. You get in there, and you are good to go.
But at first, it's kind of hard to break that bubble and become friends.
Yeah.
But once you do, the Serbian people are just amazing.
Totally. Totally agree.
Yeah, that's the difference between America and Serbia. In America, you can go by yourself and find friends, but in Serbia, you can go by yourself. But it's a question: will you find friends? Will you be a friend with someone? Will you make friendship with someone?
Good point. Like here in Serbia, how often would you, Dragoljub, how often do you go to the bar or a coffee place by yourself?
Probably like never.
Never.
Yeah.
Very different for you.
Always when I'm going to do that stuff, I'm going with at least one friend. So yeah. But if it's a night out, probably it's like a crew, like 3, 4, 5 people. Yeah. So you will never see a Serbian guy or Serbian woman to just go into a bar by herself, or themselves. So yeah.
And speaking of women, I'm glad you brought that up. That's a huge topic, you know, here. A very popular topic. When we talk about the Balkans, we know the Balkans is filled with really pretty ladies, you know?
That was one of the main reasons why he came.
But when it comes to women,
last year.
you know, I think there's a big difference between, you know, ladies in the USA and ladies in Serbia. First of all, let me just say one thing. Me and one of my friends, when was this? Maybe about 5 years ago, before I used to go to the US every summer, we're sitting out here in the middle of Novi Sad. You've got outdoor cafes everywhere, which you don't see a lot in the USA.
Of course, yeah.
We're sitting there, me and my friend, 10 girls go by. And me and my friend said, man, out of 10 of those girls, 8 are beautiful and worth talking to, if you want to put it that way.
Yeah.
You know, USA, if we're talking Alaska, Anchorage, Alaska, how would that be in Alaska? Out of 10 women, how many would you find maybe attractive? Just stereotypical Alaskan woman.
I don't want to get in trouble for this.
Sure,
of
yeah.
course.
Be careful.
Of course, there are some very beautiful women in Alaska.
Of course.
Of course. But I'd probably say 1 out of 10.
1 out of 10.
For me personally.
1 or 2 out of 10,
No.
yeah.
What I've noticed with the Balkan woman, and correct me if I'm wrong, I'm extremely intimidated by Balkan women due to the fact that they're always dressed unbelievably well. Makeup, hair, shoes, high heels, everything. They look absolutely gorgeous. I'm intimidated to talk and make eye contact. I've always had that fear. But here, I've noticed, you know, that's one big difference. You know, they go out, you know, in the morning, 5 o'clock in the morning, if they have to go somewhere and buy a burek, they're going to dress up. They're going to look nice. Yeah. USA, not so much, right?
Sweatpants and
sweatpants.
That's it.
Yeah. But also, I think here, you know, if you're looking at a little more graphically, like even one-night stands, if we want to get into that, I think in the United States of America, it's a little bit easier with an American woman to go to a bar type woman especially buy a drink, and the rest of it is history. Yeah. Here, women I think are a little bit more classy. They don't really. It's more difficult to get to know, to get into this.
It's more old school.
Yeah, more so, right? Would you agree with me?
Yeah.
What is your experience here with women? Have you had relationships? Have you?
It's hard for him to say.
Is that something we want to discuss, or?
I mean, I've had a couple
dates or anything.
I've had a couple dates, and I enjoyed it, and I think Serbian women. I think Serbian women are amazing, and they're very beautiful women, and they do have the values that I'm looking for in relationships.
Such as, give me an example. What's the values that you admire in a Serbian woman?
I'm not so old-fashioned. I mean, I like when the household is, you know, wife and husband are equally putting forth effort in the marriage, and that's what I'm looking for. Eventually, someday I want to get married.
Beautiful.
One thing I noticed in Serbia, they really take care. Once you're in a relationship with someone, they really take care of you, and they really care about your feelings, and they kind of put you first, which I really like. You know,
of course.
That's one thing I really like.
I even noticed here, you know, no offense to American women, by no means do I want to badmouth or stereotype. We have 320 million people in the USA, so I'm not here to badmouth Americans. But the last few relationships I had in the United States, when it comes to a woman, here in Serbia, they want to take care of you better. You know, so often you go to a woman's house here, she fixes your plate, she brings you your plate, when you're finished, she'll go get you more and bring it to you. USA, you've got this big thing with, you know, equality, you know, and you know, the woman and the man are here, they're equal. So you say, honey, can you get me my plate? Get it yourself. You know, here in the Balkans, I've noticed even the smaller communities, a lot of smaller communities, I know it's not every Serbian family, but many times they ate at places. The mother, the grandma, they would stand off and wait. They would serve the guys to eat and wait until we're finished, and then they would eat. I noticed that. Not all the time, but that still happened. So I think they take better care of their men. Would you agree?
Yeah, sometimes I even get into a fight when it's Slava. Sometimes I get into a fight with my grandma. I was like, please just sit and eat. I mean, we're all gathered. We're all gathered here. We're drinking, we're eating. Please just sit. I mean, we can do it by ourselves. So yeah, that's the exactly how our women are. Yeah.
Why do you think, even when it comes to this that I just stated with a Balkan woman, maybe being harder to get to know, harder to why do you think that is? You're Serbian. Why do you think you go to the USA and women are easier to talk to, easier to date, and things like that? Why do you think Balkan women are different, or Serbian women in particular?
I think it's a thing about mentality. I think it's really different mentality because. I cannot say exact reason, but I think that's the main stuff why they're so different. Yeah.
But something I said earlier, I don't know. I think
and probably because of culture. Yeah.
Cultural. Yeah. I think maybe most people are Orthodox. It's kind of an older school.
Something like that.
Maybe way.
Yeah, maybe.
And also something I thought, after being here for 9 years, is that Serbia is a smaller community. So if some guy comes here, he dates some girl, everybody's going to know it. I mean, Serbians talk. You sit for hours and have a coffee. Yeah. So maybe that's another reason. Do you think? Maybe it's a small close, so girls don't want to be known
one of the
as,
reasons.
Oh, wow,
one of the
I went
main
out with this
reasons.
guy.
Yeah, exactly. You're right. One of those reasons. Yeah.
What about when it comes to like dating? Is there any when you date a girl? What is typical custom to when you as a Serbian date another Serbian girl? How do you meet the parents? Is there something specific you would do in
How
Serbia?
do I meet the parents? I mean, if it's in my case, I will of course invited her to have a lunch or dinner with me and my parents. So I will introduce her to my parents, and we'll start meeting each other. And yeah, that's the thing that you always do. Yeah, when you want to have a long-term girlfriend.
Long-term girlfriend. What about you? I mean, you've dated some Serbian girls here. Is there any advice? Lots of folks watch my videos from foreign countries. They've met a Serbian in the USA. They're always beautiful. One Serbian girl, not to I'm asking a question, but I want to say something else. There was a young lady, I sent her to St. Louis, Missouri. She told me her 4 months, she worked in a fast food restaurant at the drive-thru. Yeah. She said she received unlimited amount of phone numbers and so many offers to marry her, while she was there in the USA, which I thought was funny. But when you date a Serbian girl, did you ever have an encounter with the parents? Did you ever have to meet them or anything like that? Advice that you could offer?
I have met some friends' parents, not romantic, and I have met their parents, and it was kind of, for me it was uncomfortable, but now I understand Serbian culture a little bit better. But when I first got here, I was really scared to meet somebody's parents. Even as just a friend.
Yeah, me too.
And they invite me to stay at their house, and I was like,
he was new in the story, so
So I was a little bit uncomfortable staying at my friend's house. Like, what do her parents think of me?
Totally.
Like even though we're not romantic at all or anything, I was just so.
It was a female.
Yeah. So I was surprised, and I've stayed at his. I went to his slava, for example, and I was invited by some friends to stay with them for different holidays in Serbia so far, and they just treat me so well, and I have yet to meet anybody's parents outside of friends. Like, I haven't met any romantic partners.
Really?
Parents, but.
Well, good. That's a very good point. I had the same situation when I came here in 2010. First thing as an American from Illinois, when I came here, I meet my friends. They pick me up at the airport. First thing I ask them, where is the hotel? All my friends, three guys, they're like, why hotel? Stay at my house.
Why would you pay for it?
Yeah, that's what they said. But I thought to myself, why do you want me to stay at your house? To me, that was so odd, Because in the USA, if I go somewhere, I stay in a hotel or an Airbnb, I would never stay with my friends, especially maybe if they live by themselves, I would. But in Serbia, so many people still live with their families, mom and dad. To me, that's so uncomfortable, to stay in somebody's house.
Yeah, I had the same example when I was going to Niš. I met 4 girls in America there. So one of them was making a birthday party.
But Serbian girls.
Serbian girls,
Serbian girls.
Serbian girls, yeah. And one of them offered me to stay at their home. and because I told them I would stay at some Airbnb or I would pay for some hostel or something. She was like, no, you will never do that. You will stay at my home because Serbians are really hospitality people.
Oh, totally.
Yeah, of course. So yeah, when I came there, they were really friendly. Hospitality was really great. There was her parents was really amazing. So yeah, I would feel bad if I didn't do anything about that. So I got whiskey for father and 3 roses for mother.
Ah, beautiful.
They probably wouldn't mind even if I didn't do that. But I will feel bad about myself if I didn't do that. So yeah.
Something I've noticed since being here in Serbia also, when it comes to the hospitality aspect, I'm from the Midwest. We're very nice people. We take care of people. We're very, very friendly. But in Serbia, everything I've heard after all of these years, I broadcast Serbians as being so friendly and everything to me, which they are. But so many Serbians, maybe a Serbian from Niš or Pirot, they'll write to me and they'll say, "What? I think we're the meanest people to each other. Maybe we're nice to you, but not to me." But I think that's the case. Serbians are good to a foreigner, but to each other, I don't know if you're the nicest people to each other. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Would you agree with me or no?
They think like that. They think on that way, but when it comes to practical, they aren't like that. I mean, it's on my own example. So yeah, just what I said about the girl that gave me hospitality and stuff. So yeah.
How long did you know this girl before she offered you to stay at her house?
I know her for like 4 or 5 months. Yeah,
4 or 5 months.
Yeah, 4 or 5 months.
That's a short time to know a guy, somebody from the opposite sex, and let him stay in your house with your family.
Yeah,
USA, that would be very awkward.
Yeah, exactly. It was awkward.
It was awkward. But your people are more trusting. When we talk about, let's talk a little bit about safety. Another big thing so many people bring up in the USA. When I say I'm in Serbia, people say, "Oh my God, is it safe?" Can you stay? I mean, is it safe for ladies if you come there or whatever? Do you have any issues with safety here in Serbia? Some Americans think there's war here still.
Yeah, actually, I have family members who think, why would you go to a place that has a war?
Yeah.
A long time ago. I feel more safe here than maybe out of the 19 countries I've been to, only Japan and Serbia are the 2 places I feel most safe.
Yeah.
Tell me a little bit about safety. If you can you go to ATMs? Can you approach random folks? Well, tell me a little bit about it.
In my experience, since I've been here, which is 2.5 months, I've actually been in situations where I had to go to the ATM at really late hours, and I was kind of worried, but it wasn't an issue, and even going out drinking with friends, I never have to worry about anybody. I haven't had any serious issues here. In America, you can't do those kind of things. I was robbed, and I was only in Alaska for a short amount of time, like a little bit less than a year, and it was 3 in the morning, and I was at the bar district, and there, there was a safety issue with that, and that kind of turned me off about the whole living in Alaska thing.
Oh yeah,
but it is partially my fault because I was in the wrong place at the wrong time.
Yeah. But I agree with that. Yeah.
I don't think there really is a wrong place and a wrong time in Serbia. I feel safe here.
So true.
I feel safe here anywhere and everywhere I've been. It's just this place is.
So many times when we talk about like the summer work and travel program, which I work at, I tell students, we send students to Houston, Texas, to San Francisco, to San Diego, to Anchorage, to Boston, to some of these big cities, New York City. Even the smaller cities in the USA, I always tell a student, there's a bad part of town in every city in the USA. You come to Serbia, when we talk about safety, when I first got here, and a lot of these Americans I bring here, these Americans will ask a Serbian, okay, where's the bad part of Novi Sad? The Serbian's like, what bad part? What do you mean? Yeah. There is none. Belgrade, the capital of this country, 2.5 million people, I think, in the whole opština of Belgrade, they say.
I think so,
You ask a Serbian, where's the bad part of Belgrade? What do you mean? Where's the bad part? You just don't have it. And that blows my mind. Because in Illinois, a city with 50,000 people, there's always a part of town that's not so nice. And for me, safety, I did have an issue in Zrenjanin, in Serbia, so I don't want to make this country sound like it's perfect, because it's not. One time, really late, after leaving the bars and leaving a friend's house, I think we was at a birthday party or whatever, I got extremely intoxicated, approached a group of like 3 or 4 young men. One young man, if you can see in the back of my head, there is a scar here, took a bottle. I said, "Excuse me, do you know how to get to blah, blah, blah?" He said, "Blah, blah, blah, blah." Yelled something I don't know. Took a bottle, smashed it, smashed over my head, bled. I fell down, smacked my lip. So Serbia does have issues, but exactly what you stated earlier, wrong place at the wrong time, being silly, 3, 4 in the morning, whatever, intoxicated, approaching young people in a foreign language, you never know what's going to happen.
That's true.
But here, the
happen
chances
anywhere.
of that happening are very minimal, you know. I feel comfortable here being from Chicago, a city that has 600, 700 murders every single year, walking through here in the middle of the night, going to the ATM. You don't have problems if you're sensible, you know, do you?
True,
you know.
true.
What about you? Did you have any? We were discussing earlier about the bad things. There's bad things in Anchorage. Anchorage is not heaven or paradise, right?
Yeah,
what was the
it's
worst?
not. Nature is a
thing
paradise there, but
Nature.
yeah,
No.
but downtown it's not.
Downtown's
Yeah, it's
not. Tell me the
Especially-
worst part about Anchorage, Alaska.
Especially when you're going from your workplace to your house at the time around midnight, because I was working mostly from 2 p.m. to 10 or from 4 p.m. to 12. So I didn't have a bigger problems. Didn't get into fights when I was passing through the downtown. But there were some folks that just bump into me, asking for money, asking for cigars, and when I just passed next to them, they will start yelling at me. So I got a little bit scared, but you know.
I mean, how often would this happen? Is this a daily thing?
No, it's not a daily thing. It's maybe like twice a month,
Really?
or 3 times per month. Yeah, but. It happens. It happens. As I mentioned, I didn't have a bigger problems, but my friends, 2 of my friends, almost got stabbed with a knife. Yeah, they got lucky because one of the cars just passing through, and the car stopped, and yeah, they were safe because of that. But yeah, they could get into trouble.
Did you know? I don't know if it was last year. I think it was the year before last. There was a serial killer in Alaska, in Anchorage, that had murdered some people with a knife, and because the State Department got involved there. But we had like how many students? Every year we sent about 100, 130 students to Anchorage or to Alaska in general.
More, yeah.
But I know there was a lot of students told me there was some park or something. This guy had killed some people with a knife, and these Serbians were riding their bicycles back through there. So it must not have. It must not be the most beautiful, safest city in America. Huh?
Yeah, it's not. It's not. But probably it's more safe than other bigger city like Boston, like New York.
Yeah, but we're talking population. What's the population of Anchorage? It's not the same population as Chicago or Boston. What's the population?
About 450,000 people. So
Yeah, so just a little bigger than here.
yeah,
Yeah.
just a little bit, yeah.
Yeah. Wow.
Yeah, Anchorage is like 1.5 of Novi Sad or 2 Novi Sads. Yeah.
But so much bigger, right?
So much bigger,
Spread out, bigger buildings and things like that.
But like you were saying earlier about the bad parts of town, you know, there is really good parts of town in Anchorage, and Anchorage is a really beautiful city. But if you go downtown, and especially at nighttime, you will find some homeless people, or you will find some criminals, and there is, you know, that is a bad part of town. So.
Yeah.
When we talk about like price-wise, you came here to Serbia from Alaska. Alaska's way up, far from the rest of the USA. So a lot of prices for regular grocery items. You said earlier your mom had worked in like the furthest north point, Barrow, Alaska. A gallon of milk was how much?
It's like $15.
$15 for a gallon. When we talk about prices, you moved here. How are the prices for an apartment? What do you pay for your apartment bills and things such as that?
Well, I'm paying $330, and I know that's, for me it's cheap. But when I tell my Serbian friends how much I'm paying, they're like, oh my god, that's ridiculous.
It's still ridiculous. Yeah.
You can get it for way less.
For like 150, 200.
I pay $130. Yeah. So.
See, Yeah.
But for us, it's still cheap, right? $3.30 a month. You know.
My experience with the prices in Serbia was the first day I got here. I went with him and another friend to coffee.
Yeah, I just want to mention that. Yeah.
And I was looking at the menu. I was, how much is $1.30? How much is that in dollars? And it's about $1.20. It's like, for a whole coffee?
Yeah.
$1.20 for a coffee.
To be exact, $1.03.
Yeah. And then after that, we were walking, and we got some food, and it was about the same. It was like $1.30 or $1.20, and this big thing. I don't know what was it.
Burek, you know about burek?
Oh, yeah.
It's
big. I couldn't even finish
Serbian bakery thing.
I couldn't even finish the whole thing, and I was like, "This is only $1."
$1.
He was really amazed by that. I mean, it was a huge, and he really didn't eat it, but he only paid $1.
And I fell in love with Serbia the first day I was here.
Yeah. What about you? When you went to Alaska, was that culture shock? I mean, to go from here to there, how much did you have to pay for breakfast there? You can get a burek, a big one, like you said, for $1. How much was breakfast there?
Yeah, when I came there, I just went into my housing and we have an empty fridge. So yeah, so we should go somewhere to eat, to some restaurant, because in Anchorage, to be exact, you have small stores like you have here in Serbia on every corner. You have Walmart in this part of town, and then 20 miles you have another Walmart.
Yeah.
So and you have restaurants, which is, of course, they're expensive. And yeah, I went to a fast food restaurant to just take a slice of pizza, and I paid it like $8 or $9, I think, for one slice of pizza.
One slice of pizza.
One slice of pizza. Yeah.
Jesus Christ.
Yeah. It's like in Serbia. In Serbia, for 800 or 900 dinars, you can go to a fine restaurant to have a decent meal. Yeah. So
unbelievable.
It's a really big difference.
Man, that's a big difference. So how much is McDonald's there? If you go to McDonald's in Anchorage, what's a McDonald's meal in Anchorage?
I didn't go to McDonald's.
You're a smart guy.
Yeah.
I'm glad you did.
Because first when I came, because I'm in fitness and then trying to be as healthy as I could. I tried not to eat the fast food and stuff, but when I was thinking about, you're in America, you'll be there for 4 months, you should experience that, all those foods, all those fast food, you should try it. I think there wasn't a McDonald's in Anchorage, but there is?
There is. There's not in downtown.
Not in downtown.
That's good you don't know.
Yeah, but I ate a lot.
What about everything else? Subway, Wendy's, I'm sure they have all that stuff, don't they?
They have everything. They have, yeah.
What was your favorite fast food meal?
My favorite fast food was actually a Subway.
Oh, Subway?
Subway, yeah, those sandwiches are really good.
You know, I miss that, because here in Serbia, you have an index, they call it index.
Index, yeah.
But I think there's so bread, there's no meat and stuff on it, you know? I think it's so...
It's not meat,
bready.
Yeah.
But the other thing I miss, when I go to the USA, I go to the USA every summer and live on the island of Nantucket. One thing, after living here, I miss the burek, I miss the bakeries. Here, you can't go 1 block without seeing a bakery in Serbia. Everywhere, there's a goddamn bakery everywhere, or a shoe store, or a bank, everywhere.
Yeah.
You go to the Minjasnica, Serbian money exchange, which I don't need them in the USA. They're everywhere.
Yeah.
I went to other surrounding countries. You can't find a Minjasnica, you know? And
you got to go out on your way to find an exchange place in any other country, but here they're on every block.
I wonder why. Why is there so goddamn many exchange places here? You guys all have foreign currency or what?
I really don't know. I could not answer. I could not answer that question. But I have a fun thing about that. When I was in America for 2 months, and I was speaking with my mother and father through Viber. They asked me what's the most thing that you're missing from Serbia, and I was like, of course it's a food.
Everybody says that.
Yeah, food. So
every student,
exactly.
When we talk about food, when you're here in Serbia, you know, our food in the U.S. is very different from here.
It is. Yeah.
What do you think about the food? Do you like it?
Oh, I love the food here. I mean, I've been here for a while, so I have basically the same thing every day. The food in Serbia is
breakfast. Tell me breakfast. What's a breakfast for you, Sam?
It'll be bacon, eggs, onions. banana. Yeah, I try to have a variety of things.
Yeah.
One thing I have a problem with here is there's not a lot of vegetables in the food. Or maybe I just haven't found the right dishes. There's a lot of bread and meat in the
so
food.
goddamn
a lot of bread, a lot of
Everything is
potato.
bread and meat. Yeah.
And potato.
I have a lack of green vegetables because all the restaurants and all the little index, my place.
There are a lot of vegetables in the stores.
Yeah.
Make your own goddamn it, Sam. Most of these folks, something I could not believe, or not to be insulting or any way, but back home, when I was in automobile sales management, it was no kidding. Every single day I had a fast food meal or two. Breakfast, I would go through McDonald's, get a big to-go coffee, a bacon, egg, and cheese biscuit, and a hash brown. Every single day. You come here to Serbia, you talk to a Serbian, very few Serbians will go out even once a week, a family, to eat in a restaurant, do you? Your family, how often do you go to a restaurant and not prepare your own meal in Serbia?
Like once per month, probably.
Once a month.
Yeah, because I never go to a restaurant in Kikinda. My parents coming here in Novi Sad to see me because I'm going to Kikinda every month and a half or every 2 months. So
how far is Kikinda from here, bus-wise?
Bus-wise, it's half and 40 minutes, hour and 40 minutes.
Hour and 40 minutes
Yeah,
still?
something
Oh,
like
wow.
that. Yeah,
Huh.
it's not that far. It's around 100 kilometers.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and my parents often coming to Novi Sad to see me, and yeah, we go occasionally to a restaurant. Like it's, as I said, once per month.
Yeah.
So it's not
because you guys
that
are
often.
all about fixing food, making your own food, like home cooked meals. So much. Even some of the Serbian students when I lived in Zrenjanin, the first city I lived in was Zrenjanin. So many kids. What I thought was really interesting, like once a week, a student who was studying in Zrenjanin, maybe they lived in Kikinda, the mom would put like home cooked meals on a bus and send this on a bus. The student would have to say, "Hey, I'm going to go to the bus station. I have to pick up this home cooked food," and he would bring like sarma and everything. Mom had cooked and sent.
Yeah, that's what. That's
much.
exactly what my mom and my grandma are doing too.
They still do that.
Yeah, they're packing a lot of amount of food and sending to me. But because I'm living by myself for almost 4 years, I'm prepping food. They're just sending me fresh food and I'm prepping it for myself. So,
how old are you now, Dragoljub? How old are you now?
22.
Oh, you're 22.
22.
And you've been living here for 4 years by yourself.
For 4 years by myself.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
How is that expensive for a Serbian family? I mean, they have to pay your rent, your food, and all that stuff. That seems like it would be expensive.
Kind of, yeah. It's expensive, but you will do it somehow.
Like rental-wise, I mean, does your family own a?
My family own an apartment. Yeah, it's my apartment.
Oh wow!
Yeah.
Makes a big difference, I guess.
Yeah, big difference, like a really big difference.
And when we talk about the food aspect of it, great point. So much meat, so much bread,
potatoes.
Don't forget
all
potatoes. Of that
yeah.
stuff. That's the whole basis of it. But something I could not believe. Every time I went to somebody's home and ate, it was like a big, huge meal. They had like phases of food.
Yep.
Start out with like soup. My first Serbian meal in Serbia is Vinim. They had a big thing of soup.
Yeah.
I had a bowl of soup. I ate it, and I said, "Oh my God, that was good. Are we finished?" They said, "What? Are we finished? We just started. We got rid of the soup.
Exactly.
Then they bring something else. You eat that. Then they get rid of it. Bring something else." It was like these phases of it, which I thought was phenomenal, and everything was good.
Yeah.
But the thing I'm getting at, so much food, so much good food, so much bread, so much meat, but so few fat people.
Yep, that's
Would
true.
you agree with me?
I agree, 100%.
Unbelievable.
When I do see somebody who's obese, I'm surprised. I'm like, are you from Serbia?
Yeah, me too. I would think, is this an American lady or a guy or somebody from the West? Not picking on Americans, but we have a massive problem with obesity.
It's true, yeah.
Canada also, England also. These Western countries they eat less of this home cooked stuff. Yeah. Something else that every single Serbian friend of mine complains about with me. I go to the big stores here, Idea, Maxi, whatever, and that's where I buy my fruit and vegetables. vegetables and stuff. My friends are like, what are you doing? Why don't you go to a piazza, this outdoor market? Everybody goes there to an outdoor market and buys this in the refrigerator. My father builds homes in the USA. That's what he does. The biggest selling point for an American lady and a guy when they look at homes is a kitchen. They want this big refrigerator. I can almost count on my hands how many Serbians have a refrigerator that's this big. Almost all of them are this big.
Exactly.
And they don't buy stuff for like a week at a time, 2 weeks. They buy it daily or every other day. They go to the piazza, buy what they're going to eat that day, fresh food, fix it, cook it, eat it. And same thing.
It's kind of funny because, for example, I would go to buy a banana, and the next day it would be brown already. Now my friends, it's supposed to be like that. In America, your banana will be it'll be yellow for about a week.
I have a funny story about that. When I came to America, I went to a Walmart with my friend. Almost a week passed when I came there, so we went in a Walmart and we saw 8 apples packed in some bag. It was like, yeah, of course, we should take those apples to just try them, and they were so shiny. They were so, it tastes good actually. But I said to my friend, you know what we should do? Let's put this apple to a fridge and let it be for 4 months and to see what will happen. And after 4 months, I took that apple from the fridge. It was still shiny. It was still beautiful. Exactly the same way as I bought it.
Unbelievable.
So in Serbia, if you put your apple to be for 4 months in the fridge, it will turn into ash. It will turn into ash.
Such healthy stuff. That's why here, even me today, I weigh about 190, and I'm still, out of all my friends, I'm the heaviest guy. I'm 5'10", or still 7 decent chest. I'm still one of the heavier people here with my friends. You're skinny for a goddamn American. How's that possible?
I was living in Japan for a long time.
Fast metabolism.
Must be.
A lot of drinking and fast metabolism.
I did gain a lot of weight when I lived in America because I was eating a lot of fast food. I was working 2 jobs, so I kind of had to have fast food sometimes. And I did gain a lot of weight. And then I came to Europe in October, and I've lost a lot of weight since then because I've been eating pretty healthy since I've been here in France and Germany.
Yeah. That's a good point, like bringing up occupations or the job market. When we look at Serbia, recently here we've had a lot of protests here in Serbia. Not to get extremely political, I don't want to do that, but here I think we had the 6th or 7th big massive protest in Belgrade. People were protesting against the current ruling party here in Serbia. As a Serbian person who's smart, educated, you're getting really close to graduate. When do you graduate?
This is my graduation year.
Graduation year. How do you feel as a Serbian about your future here? Do you think with your degree, you said you study sport and physical education.
Yeah, of course.
What are you going to do when you graduate? Is it going to be easy for you to find a job here?
It will be really hard for me to find my job with my faculty because it's really hard for those with those 4 years. You should take a master's studies so you can get a decent job. Yeah.
So many Serbians. That's something I've noticed too.
Yeah.
I have a bachelor's degree. I can count on one hand how many people I know, my American friends that have a master's degree, almost zero. But here, so many people,
so many of them,
masters, PhDs, and still
they're not working in their profession. Yeah,
it's kind of sad.
Such smart. Oh, it's so sad.
It's so sad. Yeah.
So, do you see things getting better? Do you think things are getting better here, or no? In your opinion?
I don't know, because I see a lot of young folks going out of Serbia, trying to find a better life. Even if they have a bachelor or master's degree, it doesn't matter, because it's really hard to find a job here in Serbia. So that's why they're going somewhere internationally to find a job, to find their lives, to find themselves. Even if it's not their professionally, they would rather work somewhere with nice salaries, which is not there professionally, than in Serbia, which is there professionally and with small salaries.
Oh man, I know it.
Yeah.
Ideal. My job, I'm so blessed to do this. After working in car sales management for years, now my job, I deal with these smart young folks like this guy, Dragoljub, right here. You know, the smartest
thank you.
people, the future leaders of Serbia here. And I hear that all the time. All these smartest of the smart. These kids that are 10 times smarter than me. These kids that know physics. They know math. They know history. They know everything. And I asked them, I said, what do you want to do when you graduate? Almost everybody says, I don't see my future here. I think I have to go to Germany, Canada, Australia. Exactly. I have to get out to make it. I think that's so sad.
It's so
and I think
sad,
that's something that government needs to do better here. Entice you, give you incentive to stay here, to do something, because you're the future of this country. And the first thing you're thinking is, I want out, you know. I think that's so sad.
It's so sad. It's really sad.
What about in the USA? When we talk about when I place students in the USA on this program, I know so many American managers will look at their resume. This young kid that's 22, 23 in Serbia. A lot of these American managers will look at their resume. They'll say, the kid's 22, he's never had a job? Are you serious? So many young people have never had a part-time job or anything. What about in the USA? Do you see things being, a lot of Serbians see it as the money's growing on trees. Is it easy to make it in the USA?
I don't know. I moved to Alaska from Japan in October 2018, so I was only there for a year.
Okay, forget it. Where were you born, actually?
I was born and raised in Alaska.
In Alaska, but you've left.
Yeah, I left.
There, okay.
So I went back just for a year, and it was pretty easy. Like, I just applied for the job and got a phone call pretty quickly. It's kind of easy to get jobs there because there's a lot of jobs right now, and not a lot of people want to do those jobs.
Yeah. Which ones? Give me an example. Jobs people don't want to do.
So my degree's in teaching. So I started out as a substitute teacher, and I was teaching, and I eventually got a full-time class. But my night job, I just wanted something to do because Alaska's really boring in the summer. I mean, in the winter, it's really boring. So I just applied for a few jobs, and then I got a bunch of phone calls back for every job I applied to, and. There's some jobs that Americans don't want to do. I was in customer service, and that's some of the jobs that I do. They fill with the J1 students who come in the summer. Yeah. So to me, I'm not above working some kind of job like customer service. But some Americans, they have this pride where no, I don't want to do that. That's beneath me to do.
Yeah, good point. And that's another thing here, Dragoljub. You know, I hear so many students bitching and moaning about there's no jobs here. But something I've noticed about your people that I think is very different from ours. When I was 16, my father forced me to work. He bought me a car, but I had to work. I had to pick fruit. I was embarrassed. I said, oh, none of my friends are working. Well, if you don't want to work, you take the bus. But I didn't want to. He bought me a car. But here in this country, everybody says, oh, there's no jobs. But I see your young people sitting in these cafes from 8 in the morning till 2 in the afternoon. You tell a young Serbian, hey, I saw a job at this bar. You could be a konobar.
Nope.
Oh, but I don't want to do that.
Nope.
I think
because they're shy, probably. They're a little bit shy. I mean, there's always a work for those who wants to work, of course.
Yeah.
But
I've seen that.
when I went to America, and I was speaking with some of the people about working and stuff. And when I was telling to them that it was my first job, my first exact job, my first 4-month job,
your whole life.
Yeah,
wow.
In my whole life. Yeah, I was working like temporarily, like for a month or for 2 months here in Serbia, just something small. But
such as what? What would you do temporarily in Kikinda for 4 months?
Not in Kikinda. I was working in Novi Sad. I was stocking drinks in some of the. You know about Knjaz Miloš, right? Yeah. I was stocking
carbonated water. Or whatever?
I was stocking drinks for them for 2 months. Yeah, and that was my actually first job. I had 20 years. And when I came to America and tell them that I have only that job and just something small for the weekends, and they were amazed because most of American people, they start working after high school. So yeah, it's a big difference.
Not after, I worked during, right?
During,
when I was 15.
Yeah, our parents are like the mentality of our parents. Like first you will finish your school. You will have the best degree as you can, and then you will find something to work. But in America, as you said, your parents forcing you to work, even if you're studying.
I think one main reason maybe is that we get a car when we're 15, and you don't start driving when you're 16, 17 in Serbia, do you?
16, 17, yeah, that's the same age number when we were starting.
But I kind of expected to get a vehicle in America because everything's so far away.
You have to, yeah.
Yeah, you have to.
Me, I drove to school when I was 16 every single day, school and back. And Serbia, you don't see at the high schools here like a big parking lot for students.
Of course,
most students don't drive a car, do they? That's why I had to pay my registration, to pay my insurance and my gas.
Yeah, and when you were mentioning about the Serbian people, how they are fit, it's because they are walking all the time, because they're riding bicycles. When I was in Anchorage, downtown is like empty. It was empty.
Yeah.
I couldn't even dream about that it will be empty, because a lot of people just driving cars and small, like a really small amount of people just walking. I was living 30 minutes from my workplace, and I was every single day I was walking, because I want to, because I get used to it, so it's a good thing for me.
I've even seen, I don't know how Alaska is, I've never been there before in my entire life, but most American cities I've lived in Illinois, Indiana, Florida, and Massachusetts, and you never see, like this city, this is a city of 300,000, but you have a walking street, no cars, it's all for walking.
Just walking.
My city has none of that. We don't have a place just for walking, it's always a sidewalk. Me too. So you guys, another funny story, when I went to Colorado this summer, I went to Colorado, I went down to talk to this guy that was working at the reception, and I said, hey, I need to walk over, I'm checking out, I need to walk to this one hotel to pick this a shuttle to go to the airport in Denver. And I said, can I walk there, is it safe? And he said, no, don't walk. He said, and I said, don't walk, why? He said, oh, it's going to take you about 15 minutes.
My God.
It's going to take me 15 fucking minutes to walk there? Why, is that a problem? He said, no, but take a taxi. Like typical
minutes,
American mentality, I think, Back home, since I've moved here, everything I do, I walk. I walk from here to the bus station, whatever. But home, I wouldn't do it because I would drive there. So I think that is one reason why you guys are healthier. You know?
Of course. And the fun fact about that, when me and my friend came to America, and when we realized about Walmart, it was like 30 or 40 minutes away walking.
The Walmart?
Yeah, Walmart.
Really?
Yeah, the nearest Walmart to our housing.
With 30 minutes.
Yeah, and we didn't know about Uber, so because we don't have Uber in Serbia, and we didn't even know about that application and that stuff. And we were walking to the Walmart. We took stuff. It was like $150. It was like a bunch of bags, and it was two of us, and we were just taking those bags and pulling them like 40 minutes walking. Like that was the hardest thing I ever did. So
damn. People probably look at you like you're nuts. You know?
And we were walking through the street, and there was only two of us in the cars, and I saw a bunch of people that just like this. When they're passing, they was like this.
What are you doing?
What those guys doing? Yeah.
So it is. Our country is so centered around automobile ownership, and it's just the way it is. Middle of Illinois. I'm from the middle of Illinois. If you don't have a car, you're not going to get a job. You're not going to be able to go to school or nothing. We don't have public transportation. And here, since I've been in Serbia for 8 years, I have not driven one single time. My friends always said, why don't you have a car? If I need to go to Belgrade, I can go to the bus station. Every 15 minutes there's a bus. If I need to go to a village, to Kikinda, there's a bus. There's always buses here. That's the biggest problem I think with the USA. We don't appreciate public transportation in the smaller communities. There is public transportation in Anchorage, right? But is it reliable?
It's reliable, but it's not really safe.
Yeah,
not really safe.
It has a reputation for having homeless people and criminals take public transportation.
Exactly.
Even when you're signing up for some job, when you try to find some job, the one of the main questions they're asking is what is your kind of transportation to the job.
Of course, I've noticed that in the USA. Everybody says, "Do you have a car? Do you have a driver's license?" If you don't, you're fucked.
Yeah, I was afraid to write that I'm walking to the job because I didn't know what will happen, you know. And sometimes I sign up for a lot of places, and one of them I just tell that I'm gonna go by car, and even if I get the job, I mean.
He's gonna go by car. It's just gonna be somebody else's car.
Somebody else's car. I will start walking like hour.
They're not going to come out and check. You know, I'm sure. You know, I always put that too. You know, if you didn't have a car at the time, I have a car. I'm going to do this. I mean, that's so it's so sad they ask that. You know, that's how they always say in the USA. I watch a lot of documentaries on it, and I know a lot of people who've really struggled in the USA. And a lot of the times they say once you become somebody that's homeless, you're in a rut that you can never get out of because you have to have a car. You have to, be able to be clean and do, be able to get to your job, and you can't do it. In the USA. Even they say, like kids that went to St. Louis, Missouri, they said there is a bus, but it goes maybe once every 2 hours, once an hour. It's not reliable transportation. Here it's really reliable.
Here in Novi Sad,
you can take a taxi.
Bus rides every 10 or 15 minutes to every part of town.
Everywhere. And even if you want to take a taxi here, it's 15 minutes to walk from the center to the bus station, but to go from a taxi from here to the center to the bus station, it's like 200 dinara, 200 dinars, $2. It's so cheap, Chicago, it's too expensive. You can't take a taxi really far. It's going to cost you a ton of money.
It's like $6 just getting into the taxi.
Just to sit down. The minimum
when I came from Anchorage to New York, I paid $40 for Uber from airport to my address in New York. So it's really expensive. It's like 4,000 for 4,000 in Serbia. You can go from north to south for 4,000 and back.
Damn, you can go from here to Niš for round trip for that, can't you?
Round trip for us students is 2,000.
2,000
no,
round trip. Pičko mater. What about you? Okay, you've been here when you came to Serbia. You've been in Novi Sad. You've been in Belgrade. You've been in Niš. What is your favorite city here in Serbia?
Well, I told him actually his city, Kikinda, is really beautiful and everybody's really friendly. It's a beautiful city. Wow. My favorite city actually is Novi Sad, but
why? Why would you say Novi Sad? I agree with you totally, but why?
There's a magic here. There's a charm here. It's just
good vibe.
There's a good vibe here. People are friendly. People are just outgoing. In Serbian standards, they're outgoing. And the architecture and it's just this is the best city in the world. I can honestly say this is like the best city in the world. I've been everywhere.
I have a question for you, Charles.
Goddamn country.
I have a question for you, Charles.
Ask me. What's your question?
Because you were all around Europe, all around countries, and you have a lot of agencies that you making class and stuff. Why did you pick the Novi Sad for your main town?
Well, that's a very good point. I've been in Novi Sad currently for about 4 years now, and I absolutely, it's not just my first city here in Serbia. I've been all over. I've lived in 8 cities. I've lived in Nova Galenica. I've lived in Kotež, part of the option of Belgrade. Muze Konza, or Zimun, as they call it.
Muze Konza,
I've lived in Zrenjanin, Sremska Mitrovica, Niš, Kragujevac, and Pančevo. And I honestly think this is the greatest city, as he stated.
I agree.
Everywhere I've lived in Chicago, Illinois, Indianapolis, Indiana, Terre Haute, Indiana, Miami Beach, Florida, La Piedad, Mexico, and all those cities I just named, and I honestly agree with what he just said about Novi Sad. I think it's the most phenomenal city. The prices are good. I live right here in the center, literally right on Dunavska ulica, right here, literally 2 minutes from my office, right in the heart of the prettiest city. I pay 130 euros. My bills are 3,000, so I pay 160 euros a month. I can walk anywhere. If I want to walk to the bus station, it's 15 minutes. If I want to have a nargila, which I love, it's 2 minutes from my house. There's 3 places. If I want to have a beer and stay out till 4 in the morning. There's a kafana. There's a million of them. If I want history, there's the Petrovaradin Fortress. There's the river. If I want exercise, there's that beautiful little cave, that walking thing around there. If I want to find women, there's a lot. If I want to find an American, Sam's here. There's many. Nicola, William, my Norwegian friend. There's such diversity here. You've got Hungarians. You've got different ethnicities. You've got such a nice vibe, laid back atmosphere. I think it's just honestly the perfect place you could ever live. You know, honestly.
I like that answer.
I like that answer. Really. Anyway, my friends, that is going to wrap it up. We have been talking for hours. No, wait. Last thing I want to ask here. When we talk about the United States of America, where we're from, Sam, they say, from the time we're a kid, freedom, freedom. We're free. Everything is about freedom. When I look at freedom now, after living in Serbia for so long, I think Serbian people have more freedom than we do in the USA.
Did you?
We talked earlier, I heard you mentioning about alcohol as an excellent example. Tell me what you stated earlier about alcohol, how Serbia is more free when it comes to alcohol.
Well, this is a little bit irritating, actually. Out of the 19 countries I've been to, America's the only one that is like this. I didn't even know what a beer garden was until last year. I didn't know what a beer garden was. I heard it before, but I didn't really know what it was. I found out it's a place where you go and there's a big fence around it, and you got to show your ID to get in. You got to be 21, and then you go to the bar and you got to show your ID again to get a drink. When you get a drink, when you get a drink,
should put your ID.
Stick it here.
when you do get a drink, you cannot take it out of the area. And, you know, they all close at like 1 or 2 in the morning at the latest. You cannot drink in public, and there's reasons. But it's just so strict in Germany. I remember I went to a beer festival and for Oktoberfest, and I was so surprised. I seen some kids that were like 16, 17 years old drinking beers, and I told my friends, like, "Why are those kids drinking?" Oh, it's Germany.
It's Germany. Feel free to drink.
And same thing here. It's not frowned upon as much as it is in America. It's not taboo.
Yeah,
and
good word.
So it's too strict for me. I was living in Japan, and you can. I've literally done this. I went to the store and I got a drink, and I seen a police officer. I was like, hey, police officer. You know, and they're friendly. You know, it's just. I think America has created it's irresponsible behavior. They think it's. I don't know how to explain it. But in Europe in general and in Serbia, it's not really frowned upon, and there's not so many crimes. There's not so many DUIs.
That's exactly it. That's something I've thought exactly. You know, in the USA, they say, "Oh my God, you got to be 21 to buy alcohol." But so many kids, like when you're 15, like me, that's when I started drinking. I thought, "Oh my God, it's forbidden. I want it." I picked these older people to buy it, and I think that's the reason we have so many problems with it.
And then you wait so long.
Forbidden fruit. You know, you're like, wow, I can't do it, I want it. But in Serbia, I always assumed, when I told all my friends back home, I said, man, in Serbia, I told my parents when I first got here, I said, man, in Niš, Serbia, when I was living in Niš, I said, all night, from midnight till 7 in the morning, that whole park, right by this beautiful fortress in Niš, there was kids out there in the summer, little kids, 10, 12, whatever, they had a bottle of whiskey, a bottle of Rocky, whatever, they're drinking. The police don't come there because they're not causing problems.
They're not causing problems,
And you don't see, my mom said, oh my God, well, aren't there a lot of alcoholics? Are they? I said, no, we have more in the USA than you see here.
It's really fascinating to think about this. It makes me wonder, like, why is there such a big problem in America with the drinking and alcohol and the laws and stuff, where it's so open here and it's not a problem?
I know.
It's not a problem at all. It's not a problem
I wonder why. In the USA, it's such a taboo. You know, I took a picture one time with beer in some monument. My mom always says, oh my God, why do you always have to have a beer in your hand? Here, beer, beer, beer. I said, Mom, it's okay. We can have a beer. One of my friends came here to Serbia. We went to the bus station, me and him, to get a ticket. I went to this concession place or a little shop. got a beer, and was drinking. He said, "Oh my God, can you drink that here?" I said, "You can drink it here, yeah. You can drink it on the bus." Really? Nobody believes it.
I was on the
but
bus.
a lot of people don't do it.
Of course.
Because just because people can. You don't see somebody like Dragoljub going on a bus with a beer. They just don't do it. But when you come from a foreign country, you can't do it.
You can't do it.
You think, wow, I want to do it. That's what I do.
Yeah, when he was going from Novi Sad to Zlatibor, he finds some crew and they were
the back of the bus.
Yeah,
that's right.
back of the bus.
Usually go.
They were making a small party with a lot of drinks. So you can
I asked him like, "Hey, so which college did you go to?" And they said, "Oh, we're in high school." I was like, "Oh, I can't drink anymore with you
We're in
guys."
high school. Yeah.
I can't
Oh
drink with you
shit.
guys
Yeah, you're going to jail now, Sam.
I'm gonna pretend to sleep. You know.
And the big difference about America and Serbia is that in Serbia you can buy a beer and it's a beer to go. I mean, you can just you can just buy it and drink it in downtown, drink it next to the police officer, drink it next to random people. But in America, you can never do that.
You will get arrested for drinking in public.
Yeah, I was in a night out on the, that I mentioned last weekend in Anchorage. I was in a night out with him, and we ordered some drinks, and we get bored in that club, so we want to change club. And I just, because in Serbia it's a common thing to just take whatever you order, then just to drink it on the street.
Yeah, sure, sure.
And I took a glass of it. It was a plastic glass. It was not a
glass.
Yeah, glass. And I took that cup and tried to drink it on the street, and security was, "No, you cannot. You cannot do that. You should pay a fee for that. If police officers saw you, you will be arrested." I was like, "Really?" And then I got back into the club, drink that cup, and
then we went
to another club.
And there you go.
Yeah, it's really hilarious. It's really hilarious.
It was hard for me to get used to that law too, because I was living in Asia for a long time, and in every Asian country you can drink in public. It's not an issue. Yeah. As long as you don't steal their glasses. You know, if you a plastic cup or a can, you're fine. I remember in Alaska one time I got a Red Bull, and I was a designated driver, and I was trying to leave the bar, and they said you can't take the Red Bull out of this place.
Red Bull either.
Yeah. And the security was a friend of mine. I said, "Well, why? It's not a big deal. It's just Red Bull." He's like, "Yeah, it's the law. If you buy something inside of a bar, you cannot take anything out of the bar."
Oh, Jesus Christ. Yeah. Wow.
Yeah.
Unbelievable. Gentlemen, I think we're about finished. It's been an absolute pleasure, honestly. Every single thing I said earlier, about how I first came here, these two gentlemen experienced the same thing. If it wasn't for this random interaction with a Serbian, Sam would have never came here.
That's true,
and once you're here, this country's kind of addictive. Isn't it? So many Serbians tell me to this day, they say, "Charles, you have an American passport. Why the fuck would you be here? We want over there, but you're here." But this country has a lot of good things.
This is Europe's best kept secret.
That's exactly what my parents and my friends ask me about him. What he's doing here instead of America. And I was like, ask him, so you will know everything.
You even said that too, didn't you? You meet somebody and they say, Nicola, my friend from Norway or whatever, he always says that with Serbia. Why Serbians, first thing they say, why would you come here? Why would you live here? It's a good place.
Exactly. Are you crazy?
If you have a little bit of money, this is absolute paradise. Anyway, my friends, Savoca's Pizza. Oh my God, they were kind enough to offer us some pizza here.
Nice.
Absolutely awesome people. Savoca's in Novi Sad here.
You should open it.
Yes, let's check this out. This is one of the best places to eat here in Novi Sad. If you check TripAdvisor, one of the 5 best places to eat, and we're going to check it out. Oh my God, let's see what we got. We got a pizza here. When you look at pizza in the USA and in Serbia, something I've noticed is sauce. In the USA, there's a lot of sauce underneath. Here, not so much. But let's try this, gentlemen, and see what you think. Grab you a piece and see. Savoca's. Oh my God, thank you.
Živeli.
Živeli to you.
It's a really nice pizza. One of the best.
Yep. I think it's absolutely phenomenal. Ooh.
Yep. Good one.
The pieces are huge. Look at that. Jesus Christ.
Let's show an olive.
Savakos, thank you. Folks, hope you had a good time. This is it. Two awesome people. Dragoljub, Sam, you have any final words for these people watching here today?
Hey, take care of yourselves and enjoy Serbia.
Take care of yourself.
Hope you enjoy watching, and thank you, Charles, for inviting me.
Hey, thank you, brother.
Thank you.
Živeli. Doviđenja.
Doviđenja.